This crash costs one propeller, and here is how to replace it on the Neo 2. Today I show you how to replace a propeller on the DJI Neo 2. And as some of you might know, there was a crash in my Neo 2 winter video, and that crash broke one of the propellers. I link in the video in the upper right corner, and that's exactly what we're going to fix right now. But before we start, one important thing. Replacing propellers on the DJI Neo 2 is quite simple, but doing it wrong can cause instability, strong vibrations, or flip overs right after takeoff. In this guide, I show you the correct order, how to identify the right propellers, and the most common mistakes you should avoid. Let's dive right in. Alright, before starting any repair, it's important to take a close look at what is actually damaged. In this case, it's very clear. One of the three propeller blades on the rear right motor is broken. This happened because of the cold. At low temperatures, the material becomes much more brittle, and even small impacts like crashing in snow can cause serious damage. We can also see that another blade is already affected and starting to splinter along the top edge. Either way, this propeller has to be replaced. Flying like this is no longer safe or reasonable. Here's a short example of what would happen if we try to fly with a damaged propeller like this. The DJI Neo 2 is no longer stable, it becomes extremely loud, and it starts drifting uncontrollably to one side. Before we begin the actual work, we need to prepare the drone properly. First, I installed a gimbal cover to protect the camera. During the repair, we'll need to turn and handle the drone quite a bit, so protecting the camera is essential. Next, if installed, I remove the digital transceiver. But one more thing before we continue, DJI includes their well-known screwdriver. Well, it works, but honestly, it's not great. I recommend using a proper screwdriver set with a PH00 or PH000 bit, ideally magnetic. This is just a recommendation, not an advertisement. I personally use a high quality set from Fancan for all my drone repairs, and I've linked it in the description. Back to the drone. The digital transceiver is a flexible component and could easily get damaged while handling the drone. It can also get in the way, especially when removing the propeller guard. Finally, we take the battery out. This prevents the drone from powering on accidentally and eliminates any risk of short circuits or motor startups while working on the Neo 2. Now the drone is ready and we can move on to the actual repair. Keep in mind, the Neo 2 is a very delicate drone, so take your time and work carefully. Alright, first we need to remove the propeller guard. It is attached to the body of the DJI Neo 2 at 6 different points. Releasing these clips can be a bit fiddly, so take your time and don't use too much force. The propeller guard itself is very flexible, but the locking tabs can still break, and that's something we definitely want to avoid. I always start at the front and work my way around, using only my fingers, no tools. When releasing a clip, gently lift it until it pops out of its slot. In my case, the rear clip had already come loose on its own. After releasing the second to last clip, the guard is only held in place by the inner tab between the propellers and the drone body. You can simply lift that one out and the entire propeller guard comes off. As you can see, it is a very light and flexible part. With the guard removed, we now have clear access to all propellers and screws. So in the standard DJI Neo propeller package, you get both types of propellers. The set costs around $4 on DJI's website. There are clockwise and counterclockwise propellers, and DJI marks them differently. Type A marked in blue and Type B marked in yellow. It is absolutely essential to install the correct ones. If the propeller are mounted incorrectly, the Neo 2 may not lift off at all, or it can flip immediately on takeoff. Here, I've intentionally mounted one propeller the wrong way to show what happens. Well, in our case, we need the blue propellers that rotates counterclockwise. This type is installed on the top left motor and, as in our case, on the bottom right motor. As you can see, the propellers always rotate in diagonal pairs. Top right matches bottom left and top left matches bottom right. Only this diagonal setup provides the stability the Neo 2 needs to fly correctly. Now that everything is clear, I grab my screwdriver and use a PH00 bit. A PH000 would also work, but with PH00 I get a bit more grip in the screw head. I hold the DJI Neo 2 securely and fix the damaged propellers with 2 fingers so it can't rotate. Then I place the screwdriver and loosen the 2 screws by turning them counterclockwise. Be careful here, these screws are very small and can easily fall out. That's why a magnetic screwdriver is highly recommended. Sometimes the screws stay inside the propeller holes, which is fine. You can simply lift the propeller off. And there it is, completely damaged and no longer usable. Here's a close-up with the propeller removed. What you're seeing is a brushless motor of the DJI Neo 2. The copper windings are the stator, and the mantle shaft in the center is where the propeller is mounted and secured with screws. What we're doing next is to take a new propeller from the package. You also find 2 new screws inside and you should always use them. They come with fresh thread locking compound, the blue coating, which ensures a secure fit. One more reminder, because this is really important, always check the color code before installing the propeller. Clockwise propellers have a small orange marking on both the propeller and the motor. Counterclockwise propellers do not. In our case, we are installing a counterclockwise propeller. I carefully place the first screw onto the tip of the screwdriver and set it aside for a moment. Then I take the new propeller, quickly compare the hole pattern with the motor and place it on. This part can be a bit fiddly because the propeller doesn't really hold itself in place. Insert the screw, gently hold the propeller with 1 finger and tighten the first screw clockwise. Don't over tighten it, everything here is very delicate. Tighten it just enough so it fits firmly. I repeat the same process with the second screw. Well, and that's it. The new propeller is now installed. A quick visual check to make sure everything looks correct and we can move on. Finally, we reinstall the propeller guard. I start with the inner clip between the propellers and the drone body to secure it in place. Then I click in the outer tabs one by one. Sometimes you need to gently pull or press a bit to get everything aligned. Overall, it's pretty straightforward. The front clip can be a little stubborn, so take your time there and fine-tune the alignment. Next, we insert the battery again and, if needed, reinstall the digital transceiver for remote-controlled flight. But before we are completely done, there's one absolutely essential step left. Since we're about to perform a function test, the first and most important thing is choosing the right location. Make sure you're somewhere with plenty of open space, no people around you, and ideally no obstacles nearby. If you're using the remote controller, place the DJI Neo 2 on a flat, stable surface and start it carefully. Don't rush the takeoff. Let the motors spin up properly and lift off gently. If the propeller was installed correctly, the drone should rise smoothly and settle into a stable hover without drifting or vibrating excessively. Before you start testing directional inputs, rotate the Neo 2 so it is facing away from you. This is important because otherwise your left and right inputs will feel reversed, which can quickly become confusing during a test. Start with a very gentle left and right movement. Don't push the sticks aggressively, just small controlled inputs. The drone should respond immediately and move cleanly from one side to the other without hesitation, shaking or strange noises. Next, test towards and backward flight in the same controlled manner. After that, let it climb slowly and then descend again. Pay attention to the sound of the motors and the overall stability while changing altitude. Finally, perform slow rotations on the spot. The yaw movement should be smooth and consistent. If at any point you notice abnormal behavior, unusual vibrations, excessive noise or instability, land immediately and check the propeller installation again. Don't try to fly it out and see what happens. If you don't have the digital transceiver and are flying without the remote, select Spotlight mode and start the Neo 2 as usual. Once airborne, switch into gesture control mode using the hand gesture. Begin with simple left and right movements, then test ascending and descending. Observe carefully whether the drone's reaction matches what you expect from your gesture. As a final step, use both hands to perform the distance gesture, sending the Neo 2 farther away and bringing it back toward you. Again, everything should feel stable, controlled and predictable. If all of these checks are successful and the drone behaves normally throughout the tests, you can be confident that the repair was done correctly and the Neo 2 is ready to fly again. Folks, that's it for today. In this video you saw what it takes to replace a damaged propeller on the DJI Neo 2, what can go wrong and why the correct orientation really matters. I hope it helps you to avoid crashes and instability. Thanks for watching. If the guide was useful, leave a like, drop a comment and subscribe to the channel. Now grab your drone, go outside flying. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. See you. Bye bye.